Welcome to another episode of the Orange Nerd Show. We have a fantastic panel today. We got the one and only Mr. Sherer and Tonez Papi and the Italiano showing some major chest hair, airing out the nipples. You know what I'm saying, George? We are talking all about that Marvel chair thing, that Marvel chair promotional thing that they did the other day. We're going to talk about it. We're going to, discuss, was it a good idea, a bad idea? Where do we stand on it? Up next on the Orange Nerd Show. Let's go. Welcome aboard, everybody, to another episode of the Orange Nerd Show. Here on the Orange Nerd Show, we talk about everything except the theme parks. We talk about studio. We talk about streaming. We talk about corporate, all that good stuff. Today, we're talking about the Marvel chair thing. George, welcome back to the channel, sir. Where can everybody find you on social media?
Thank you very much. And if you'd like to find me, you could do so on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You could also find me on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky under the Disney Italiano. And of course, you can find me right here on my home base on Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info. And also check out my new YouTube channel, Citrico Central, sister channel to Orange Grove 55.
There we go. And right below the Italiano, we got Mr. Tonez Papi. Tonez, always a pleasure having you on the show, brother. Where can everybody find you on social media?
Yeah, we were talking Marvel stuff. I had to jump in this one. I love this topic. But yeah, you guys can find me at Tonez_TV on X and TikTok. Find me at my YouTube channels, my podcast. We do Bad Thoughts podcast. We do a bunch of talk about nonsense. We have game nights with the boys, stuff like that. So if you guys want to follow me there, and also follow my YouTube channel where I talk about movies and TV shows and breakdowns of trailers, stuff like that, go to Bad Thoughts Studio on YouTube.
There he is. And Jay Sherer, welcome back, brother. It's always good to see you. Where can everybody find you on social media, Jay?
It's good to be here. You can find me at How Stories Work with Jay Sherer, which is me breaking down movies, trying to learn how to write better, trying to learn how to direct better, and then really studying things to try and learn through the process. Follow me over there for that. You can also follow me. I haven't mentioned this, but I've been podcasting with our buddy Nerd Soul about the Daredevil series on Disney+. So if you want to see us talk about that, head over to the Nerd Soul channel and check out all the Daredevil content. Nerd Soul and Solar Gray and I have been talking about that over there. So and I was just talking with them, and I'm like, guys, I got to bail because I got to go talk to OG55. So yeah, it's a Marvel night tonight. It's Marvel night tonight.
Absolutely, and actually, because it does have a same audience essentially is what we're talking about today. So what I'll do at the end of this video, I'll be linking Nerd Soul, the Daredevil stuff at the very end of this one.
If you don't watch Nerd Soul is amazing.
But, hey, real quick, what are you thinking about it? What do you think about Daredevil so far, Shay?
I thought it was very mid until episode 6.
Okay.
And then I liked
it. Really?
Well, because, not to sidetrack what we're talking about now, yeah. But the Netflix Daredevil is one of my favorite TV shows of all time. Mm-hmm. And I felt like, first of all, it was supposed to be 18 episodes. It's cut down to 9. It feels very awkward at a 9-episode arc. And I felt like there was too much insertion of the MCU for no good reason. It was like, oh, let's just mention some things because we're in the MCU. I'm like, I don't care that you're in the MCU. Make a good show. But episode 6, I think we're getting back on track. So 7, 8, and 9, I think we'll all be good to go based on what I'm seeing.
That's what's so frustrating to me about these shows and these like mini series. Why does it take like 3/4 of the series in before it actually becomes good, and then you're down to 3 episodes left, and then boom, it ends? See, that's the stuff that drives me nuts, and that even goes the same with Lucasfilm and everything that's going. What? Shut up, George.
It's all studio, and it's all studio stuff. It's not the creators. The creators,
yeah,
if you give them the time and the energy, they do great. But the studio is messing with them too much, and none of the fans want that.
Actually, and that's actually a good segue as to what this whole conversation we're going to have tonight, because I was saying before recording, and I even talked to OG about this, what Marvel decided to do here with like a big announcement for Doomsday, this to me didn't seem like a Kevin Feige move. Because I've seen what Kevin Feige is capable of with major announcements and things and surprises with Marvel. This to me seemed like a cut and dry corporate suit and tie executive that went to Feige and said, you know what, maybe you should go this route. Maybe you should try doing this.
Yeah, and I'm glad. Yeah, let's start diving into this a little bit, because this was an interesting thing, right? Now, this is a condensed version of it, but essentially they did this chair thing, as I call it.
Wait, OG,
and-
real quick,
Yeah.
back up. Go to Chris Hemsworth real quick.
Yeah.
I don't know why this just irritated me,
Yeah.
but am I the only one who hates the spacing of the word Chris?
It's really
thank
close,
you.
dude.
Thank you. Completely disrespecting Chris's. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know why that irritated me just now, but I had to say it.
No, as a Chris myself, that's exactly what I noticed right now too. It's like the R and the I, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
The R and the I.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not working. It's not working. But yeah, they did this weird thing where like it was like this chair reveal for the cast for Avengers Doomsday. Now, this video is fine. It's a minute 47, and they get all of it in a minute 47. But on the rollout, what they did was they would do one chair at a time, and they would space it out. There'd be like 10 to 12 minutes in between each chair. Everyone's
I believe even longer than that, to be honest with you, OG.
it might have been longer. Yeah. I mean, it was a good time between each one. I was watching Christian Harloff, his coverage of it, and they were like clowning on it. They were like laughing, like, this is ridiculous. We're going to be here for 9 hours.
I finished Way of Water before they were done with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. It's crazy. And this is the thing. To be fair to Marvel, I get it. I get the mindset behind this, right? They wanted that kind of slow drip marketing campaign that would last like several hours. So every time a new name would drop, there'd be that buzz on social media. So you get Vanessa Kirby, and then, 20 minutes later or whatever it is, you get the next name. So it's that slow drop over several hours. I get the mindset behind the campaign. In execution, though, I thought it was just like really awkward. I think it frustrated a lot of people covering the stuff that they have to sit through a 5-hour stream. But Jay, I mean, your thoughts on it, bro? Like, what do you think, dude? I mean, did this work for you, or is it kind of an awkward?
Oh man, I could rant about this. So you guys know what is my main complaint about Disney over the last 5 years?
PR.
The PR always drives me up the wall, right? So why is the PR driving me up the wall in this instance? Okay, our friend Seymour Duck, as we were in the DMs, talking to each other in the DMs, Seymour says, I mean, look how many people are watching this thing right now.
I was just about to say that,
yeah, and he's not wrong, right? Like they got what 6 million, 7 million people to be on the stream at some point in time.
7.5.
7.5 million people to be on the stream. So here's my problem though. If we look at where Marvel is right now, if you were to sum up, not taking into account the grifters and the people who are just like MCU, it's so terrible because of course they've made it too female. Just set those people aside for a minute. Why have the more recent MCU films and TV shows not been getting as much love and not been getting quite as much attention as they were giving in the late teens? What's the point behind that, right? It's not that all of a sudden women started showing up in it, right? Like they had women in it beforehand too.
Right.
But what is the main consequence? In my opinion, it has been rushed storylines that felt like transitions to a new thing, storylines that didn't really feel like they were. I mean, phase 1 and 2 set up phase 3 and 4 or phase 3, I should say, because they did a really good job of giving everybody a movie and making us really love the character in a certain type of way, and then introducing other people to that, and then showcasing that Thanos was coming and that Thanos was going to be really important. That was all really good storytelling. I mean, they have a couple of misfires here and there, but for the most part, really good storytelling everywhere. So my issue with this is that it almost plays into and panders to what the grifters have been upset about. Oh, you don't have Chris Evans anymore? Oh, we're not going to get Chris Hemsworth? Like, oh, this is, to me, sort of like saying, yeah, you're all right. We should bring in the stars. It's about the stars. It's not about the stories. It's about who we put in front of you. And you are so right. We're going to put the people you wanted to see right back in this. So it just feels like it's not understanding what's wrong with the MCU and playing into what people are complaining about with the MCU. And I just don't like that. I feel like it's like, now if they had given us maybe like I mean, they're in a tight spot, right? Because they have to announce Avengers Doomsday, but we haven't seen Thunderbolts. A lot of people are talking about this. We haven't seen Thunderbolts, so it's obvious who doesn't die, right? Like, because who are the names on the chairs. So I get that. But like the thing I wish that was a little bit better about this is I wish it was more story based and not just hype based. I wish we would have seen like, give me a little bit more about what Doctor Doom is trying to do that's so nefarious. Thanos was a great villain. Killmonger was a great villain. When the MCU finally started giving us really great villains, we started seeing like these amazing films start coming out. So give me some more of that and give me some less of like, here's some stars names that we're hoping you get hyped about.
No, well said, Jay. And here's the thing too. Here's the problem that they run into when it's like, to your point, when you were saying, oh, we want Chris Hemsworth, we want Chris Evans, we want like this kind of thing, right? I think there is such a thing as over listening to fans. And what I mean by over listening is it's sort of like the reason why we got Rise of Skywalker, sort of. Like they were so worried about the divisiveness of the fans, right? That they over listened with Rise of Skywalker and they tried to please everybody. Oh, we're going to make her a Palpatine. We're going to this and that and this and that. And they were trying to do everything. And like, then at the end of the day, nobody really liked it, you know? Like take a risk, Disney, take the risk, just do, like you were saying, Jay, do good storytelling and you're golden, you know? But when you go for the gimmick, the quick little, haha, he's back. Aha, she's back. It doesn't really work. But what say you, Tones? Then I'll go to George.
My view on it is I sent you the post in the our private chat. It had a worldwide 275 million people tuning into the live streams throughout all platforms, which is now a record for the highest live stream ever. And I think PR wise, some of us content creators didn't like it because some had to report on it and some had to do videos on it. But it took hours for the whole announcement to happen. I get that part, but this announcement, like what other way would we have accepted an announcement, like a 2-minute video of who's going to be in the movies, or like I just think they didn't execute it properly, but they still executed it in a way where people are still excited for it. I do think that we might have just seen a lineup to a cast that could potentially be one of the best Marvel movies to ever come out because of the people that we are getting within the, Avengers Doomsday. We're getting Fantastic Four. We're getting the Thunderbolts, which I personally don't know too much of, I'm gonna be honest, but it's just seeing the Fantastic Four, Avengers, and X-Men all in one movie. Like we saw how hyped people were for Daredevil and seeing the people who came back for, those cameos. Just imagine how hyped people are going to be for, seeing these people in action on one screen. Now, this could be a good thing and a bad thing. We just don't quite know yet because of what the story is technically. We don't know what it's going to be about. And I think that's what people are questioning about the Marvel in general, because we don't know which direction they're going to go within this movie. Now we've seen Endgame and we've seen the cast that Endgame provided to us, and everyone absolutely loved it. Now if they could continue that, seeing a beautiful movie in Endgame and move it over towards Doomsday, I think people would be satisfied of how everything all panned out up until we seen the movie.
The great points, Tones. Great points. I wanted to ask you too, Tones, like the casting, right? With there were X-Men listed in this announcement, and a lot of the same cast from previous like X-Men movies are in this.
Yeah, all the original X-Men that we've seen in the first time we've seen X-Men on screen, those original, like Alan Cummings is coming back as Nightcrawler. Like we're gonna be seeing Ian what's his name? Ian McKellen. Like he's coming back as Magneto. Like we're going to be seeing the OGs come back and play the people that we're going to see.
James Marsden's in there too, right? As Cyclops.
Yes, right. Yes.
Well, and the thing too, and this is like my follow-up question. So, do you think that cause I'm not well read in the comics. I'll full admit I'm not a comic reader. Do the names of X-Men past, basically, like the talent from old X-Men movies, is that indicative of like a multiverse, Or is Marvel just going to utilize the same characters and have like their own rebooted thing? Because it's kind of interesting to me that they're utilizing a lot of the same talent. I thought when they got X-Men, I was expecting more like new hires. You know what I'm saying? I didn't. I'm surprised at how many from the old cast they're pulling. Does that surprise you or?
Not really, but I'm not too familiar with the comics either. But from what I remember hearing, the X-Men isn't in the same universe as the Avengers per se. Like they're not in the same world. I forgot what the number is, but there's a number for what world they're in. I don't think they're in the same universe. I don't think they've ever met, especially in movies. We've never seen them in the same movie. But I do think the way that we saw the cameos in Wolverine and Deadpool and the fans' reactions to those cameos and the OGs that we saw, like Wesley Snipes' Blade, like stuff like that, I think that was a huge impact on why they did hire and bring back the OGs for X-Men and most of these people that are coming back instead of recasting these people because of the fans who originally loved those characters. We get to see them now again, years later.
Well
we
said,
did see Professor X in Doctor Strange 2, right?
Yes,
he was in there, and he was played by Patrick Stewart. I think OG, part of the reason for it too is that the new hires for the X-Men were all back in the 60s. Like it was a rewind. They were all prequels, if you will. Like they were going to become James McAvoy was going to become Patrick Stewart, right? So I think it's time-wise, unless they were to say that like we're going back in time with everybody, which actually would be awesome, but they're not doing that clearly because unless they're going to de-age all these guys. But because Fantastic Four takes place in like the 60s.
Yep.
So they could have brought in McAvoy and it could have like all of that taking place in the 60s, but by bringing in Patrick Stewart, it's like, well, pretty much feels like they're going to be more in the modern day than it will be going back.
Yeah, interesting. Italiano, what do you think, brother?
Well, for me, I think it's quite interesting. Yeah, when they announced like the overall, like just speaking with the actors, reprising their roles, especially for X-Men, because I feel like that's smart in a way, but yet risky. But then again, we're all about taking risks because moving forward, if this would be the big introduction to bring back X-Men, how is it moving forward with the individual films? Do they keep this cast? Does something happen where, again, in the multiverse, then that would introduce the newer cast? So it brings on a lot of questions, but I'm open to it. I think it's really cool. Ian McKellen is reprising for Magneto, Patrick Stewart, and then you said James Marsden is reprising for Cyclops. So that's really cool. My question is how it's going to be. See, because if it was like a one and done kind of thing that was just for this movie, I think, okay, that's really cool. But being that X-Men is going to be now a big part of the MCU, or at least this version of MCU moving forward along with Fantastic Four, are they keeping their roles, for more individual films? That's my bigger question. But even speaking of that, out of all the people that actually got announced, the one person that actually got the most traction on on the internet, as far as like in the search engine and everything, was actually Kelsey Grammer. Yeah. And I thought that was quite interesting. Out of everybody, like he was the one that his name was on the trend, the same name with everything.
From what I understand, and Tones and Jay, correct me if I'm wrong. From what I understand, he is rumored to be playing Beast.
He played Beast before.
He played him
before.
He played Beast in Miss Marvel, the end credit scene. He was shown with, I forgot her name. It was anyway, he was already in a Marvel movie in the post-credit scene and after Miss Marvel ended.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I love him. He's a great actor. He's fantastic. Absolutely,
he played Beast in, which one was it? There's an earlier one where he played Beast as well, in like back in the day. I'm trying to remember.
But did he play
Hank
Beast?
McCoy. The Last Stand.
The
He
Last
played
Stand.
Beast in The Last Stand. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, what do you guys think about this movie? I mean, do you think this is going to be? It sounds like a pretty stacked film, you know. I mean, is this going to be another Endgame? You think? You think this is going to be another like $2 billion film? Tones, what do you think?
What it's probably past that. It's gonna be like I said, with we've kind of got a as much as or it's been a while since we've seen Endgame. I mean, with a stat cast like that, we're gonna be seeing it again with the even bigger cast. And the thing about what this is and the cast that we've got so far, this isn't the end. We're going to be getting more people being announced. We haven't got to see Spider-Man. There was no Chris Evans or Tom Holland. We haven't seen Chris Evans. Like, we haven't seen a lot of people's name in this lineup. And so we should be expecting a lot more people to be announced. So I do think this movie is going to make billions of dollars, in my opinion. But I think this potentially could be one of the best Marvel movies that could come out if it's done correctly, because of the amount of teams that we're seeing combined on one screen that we've never ever thought we would ever see. So that's my opinion, at least.
Yeah, and I think you bring up Spider-Man, and I think one thing that a lot of fans are looking forward to is the dynamic between Doom and Spider-Man, because obviously Doom is played by Robert Downey, and there's a history there with Iron Man and Spidey. So that whole thing and how that impacts Peter Parker and all that, I think it'll be really, really cool, you know?
Absolutely.
So yeah, we'll kind of see how that shakes out.
Really quick, I just have a quick question. Do you fellas feel like we would ever see a $1 billion movie just domestically? Obviously, movies have hit like over $2 billion worldwide, but do you think that this kind of movie, again, to Tone's point, if it's done correctly, could it potentially be the first US $1 billion film?
What do you think, Jay? You think that's possible, or Tones? You think it's possible?
I mean, for me, see, I'm not taking as positive of a view of this. So for me, Marvel still has to prove that it's back, and it hasn't done so yet. Like, I haven't seen them. Like, yeah, you can do a Deadpool movie that's really funny and includes Hugh Jackman, and you can make $1 billion. But that's a Deadpool movie where we know what we're gonna get. Like the last so for example, I did not go to the theater to see the Captain America: Brave New World, because the last 3 movies I saw in the theater were Marvel were not good enough for me to go pay for another movie, right? Like, I always wait till it comes out on Disney Plus. So a good cast is definitely a way to get butts in seats and to sell tickets. So in that regard, Tones is right. The marketing, when you have a good cast, is good. However, Thunderbolts hasn't come out. We don't know if that's a good movie. A lot of the people from Thunderbolts are in this. We're pretty confident that Fantastic Four will be a good film. It feels like a good film just in the way that they're marketing it. But let's just say doesn't live up to expectations. They're also in this film. I mean, it's not like you're getting like, hey, we're bringing the Avengers back, and it's going to be the exact same Avengers that we saw in the last Avengers movie, right? There's some different version of the Avengers that's coming out with this new film. So it doesn't give me a ton of confidence, because everything that's built up to this, with a few exceptions, like the Loki series I thought was really good, and there's some other ones splashed in there that I thought were good. But for the most part, everything leading up to this is not that great, in my opinion. So if it's going to hit $1 billion, it's going to have to come out with good reviews. Now, I was pleased to see that they hired the Russo brothers with McFeely writing, because we know that their track record in the MCU is solid. Like, I don't think they've done a bad film in the MCU. Their first film was Captain America: The First Avenger, and everything they've done since that was pretty phenomenal. So that increases my confidence. But just because you put Pedro Pascal in it doesn't necessarily mean you should show me Paul Rudd's name on a small chair. But the last thing I saw Paul Rudd in that you guys made was Quantumania, and I didn't like Quantumania. So, like, I just feel like it's I want them to tell really good stories, and I feel like they've been off their game in that regard. So until they get back, until I see a review that says like, wow, they've really made it this time, and like the story's there, then I'm going to be like, awesome, I'm going to go to the theater and see this. Until then, I'm on the fence, man. Like, I can't tell you it's going to be good just because.
That's fair. No, that's fair. And you're right. There are a lot these other movies, because this is the problem with the cinematic universe in a lot of ways. This is the negative side of it, where you mentioned Thunderbolts, you mentioned Fantastic Four. This movie hinges on those being good. Like, kind of. I mean, you know, if Thunderbolts flops or people don't care about it, that's going to impact this movie.
And that was the risk of even doing this, like, before those films even came up, because now it's out there to everybody that these actors who are playing these characters are now going to be part of Doomsday. So yeah, so if Thunderbolts flops and Fantastic Four, which I would be tremendously disappointed if Fantastic Four flops, because I want that to succeed. But to Jay's point, in the unlikely event it does, what does that then look like? If both Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four flops, and then they're putting on this big production kind of thing of saying, oh, these characters are going to be in Doomsday. Well, we don't really give a shit because these two movies suck. You know?
Well, Tones, you have a different opinion on that?
I just don't think Thunderbolts should be thrown in as a movie that needs to do good for this movie to be impacted, because no one has high expectations for Thunderbolts to be this amazing blockbuster hit that everyone needs to go see. Fantastic Four has that on their back, but Thunderbolts has, I mean, at least the I guess the people who've been saying stuff about Thunderbolts, they're not going in with high expectations for this movie to be just flat out amazing. I do think because of that low expectations, if this movie is remotely just decent, or you know has a good storyline, I think that is it could mean a good thing for Thunderbolts, but I just don't see the expectations being high for this movie. Now, on Fantastic Four, for on the other hand, is a movie that definitely needs to do fucking good for Doomsday, for people to go to the movies and watch Doomsday. Now, I will say this: I have high expectations for Avengers Doomsday. For one, because the Russo brothers are back, but for two, I have to have these. I have to have these emotions, because this is the last time I'm watching anything Marvel's. If it's not good, I'm gonna just stop putting my time and effort into a Marvel series or Marvel movies. Like, I'm gonna go watch them and everything, but as far as like doing videos about it and stuff like that, I just think there's been too much in the last couple years for me to like put any more effort into like trying to back up this franchise that I once loved. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, good, bro.
No, I was going to say, so I have to have these high hopes for this movie, because this potentially could be my last movie that I'm going to watch for Marvel that I'm actually like looking forward to seeing. Because anything past this, if it's shit, I'm just not even going to bother.
That's a really strong statement that you just said, because it makes you wonder of how you just said, you know, this could be the final, you know, Marvel movie with this much hype and this many stars and what they're anticipating this movie to do, that if it's not cracked up to what it is, and you say this is the last Marvel movie that I would ever, you know, put any thought to even seeing, makes you wonder if you're really not the only one thinking that. There could be a slew full of people that could be thinking, you know what, we'll give Marvel another chance. I mean, they're bringing the Avengers back in a way with Doomsday and then Secret Wars, because again, if Doomsday dooms at the box office, what does that then say for Secret Wars? Because that Doomsday is basically the prologue, if you will, leading into Secret Wars. So if everyone stops the canon at Doomsday, Secret Wars doesn't even have a chance. So to what you were saying, Tones, is that you would then be done with Marvel. What does that say about it as a full brand? Like, would people then have that same mentality after these films, if they bomb, to say, you know what, I'm not investing my time and money in Marvel anymore? And that would be very bad, especially on Feige's watch.
Yeah, it would be a huge blow to Marvel if Doomsday is just a failure. Like, you know, not even financially, but just if the fans reject it, if it's a very, divisive kind of film. It's not really embraced by the fans. It's not seen as a good movie. This, that, and the other. I think that would spell a lot of trouble for Marvel. I think because, like what you were saying, Jay, a lot of people feel that way. There's been a lead up of very mid kind of content lately. You know what I'm saying? Quantum Mania. I mean, even just some downright bad stuff like She-Hulk, you know? Like, so you have all that leading up to it. And then you have this movie Doomsday, which a lot of people are hyped for, which is like another, Endgame or Infinity War kind of style film. And then that even drops the ball. That fumbles the bag. I mean, I'm with you, Tones. Like, that really sucks a lot of the enthusiasm off of this franchise. You kind of get to a point where you're like, what am I doing here? Why am I going to? Because Marvel, it's not really even like Star Wars. Marvel asks a lot from their fans. They put out a lot of content. To keep up with this franchise is significant. You know what I'm saying? So if they're not doing it and they're not getting you hyped anymore, that's tough, man.
The one thing I want to say real quick is there is a lot of pressure on this movie. Just the fact that we are having such a huge cast. Same thing with Odyssey, the movie Odyssey coming out. That movie is like packed with nothing but talent. Just nothing but talent. And we're like, in this movie, if you think about Avengers Doomsday, who are we going to follow? The X-Men? Are we going to follow the Avengers? Are we going to follow Thunderbolts? Like, who are we going to be following throughout this movie? Because there's going to be a lot of screen time for just a handful of people in this movie. And then we're eventually going to get this, most likely this huge battle of all, these superheroes coming to fight. That's my guess at least. But who's going to get most of the screen time is my question. So that's a lot right there. That's riding on people or riding on Marvel's shoulders, because if they pick the wrong person to have the most screen time, that could be a very bad idea for the movie, or bad move for the movie.
Yeah,
and that's why they should go with Pedro Pascal. Because honestly, to Jay's statement, you just throw Pedro Pascal in anything and it'd be, phenomenal. Absolutely right. You could put him in a bathrobe and slippers, have him sit in a kitchen eating graham crackers, and it'd be phenomenal.
Two quick stories that I think are interesting. One realization that I came to today, and then another story from a few years back that I think have an impact on what we're talking about. The first story is I was watching the Real Rejects podcast, which is a great podcast. Real Rejects are cool. Like, they're great. I actually,
real quick, not to digress too much, I actually saw him at a Ralph's Market out here in the Valley.
No way.
Like a year ago. Yeah, he was self-checkout.
Self-checkout guy. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I didn't say hi, I should have, but I didn't want to bug the guy. He was checking out. So
yeah, he's cool. He's a cool guy. Very cool guy. I like listening to him. But as I was listening to him talk to Coy, I don't remember his last name, Coy Jandao or something like that.
Yeah.
I realized I was listening to a comic book store conversation. If you've ever been around comic book stores in the 90s or in the 2000s, you would find nerds like us conversing about these, and it was always like, well, you didn't read episode 365 where the Hulk hulked up in this kind of sitting and he was actually blue, and then and you're like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe that you know more about comics than me. Fine, you're cooler than I am. And that's not me. Like, I just got finished saying Real Rejects is awesome, and then it sounds like I'm criticizing him. That's not the point I'm trying to make. They had a great conversation. The point I'm trying to make is, as soon as that hit my head, is like, wait a second, comic book conversations are not the general audience.
That's true.
Now let me tell you a different story that I was shocked by that happened to me and proved that I was a giant nerd. I did a presentation. I want to say this is like 2018. I did a presentation at a college. I actually did a couple different presentations at a college, but one of the presentations I did was about superheroes and how we could actually define whether or not someone was a hero or a villain. I did a whole presentation about it, right? And there was like 12 people that showed up to this thing, because it was just like there was all these presentations happening, like, it could show up to whoever they wanted to. So I'm thinking, like, okay, if you show up to my presentation about whether or not people are superheroes or not superheroes, like, you're only going to show up if you care about this stuff, right? So there's these 12 people in the room, and I'm like, So all of you guys saw Black Panther, right? Black Panther had come out, what was it, 2016, I think? And Black Panther was like one of the most popular movies of that year, right? Like it was huge. I'm like, you guys have seen Black Panther, right? They're like, one kid's like, oh, I think I might have seen that. And I'm like, you might, wait a minute. Of all the people in this room, no one saw Black Panther? And they're kind of like, no, I didn't see it, man. Like, and what it made me realize is that as a person who talks about this stuff all the time, I live in a world that is not their world. So in order for them to be like Avengers Doomsday, like I heard about it, I saw some chairs. We have to talk about it to them. We have to tell them that it's awesome. It doesn't hit 1 billion unless we say it should hit 1 billion, right? Like the core audience goes, Deadpool is great. We love Deadpool. Deadpool's funny. You should go see it. Then the other person goes and sees Deadpool. But so we talk about Disneyland normies all the time, and we're all like super fans. Right. Well, that's the same thing in this world. Like, so I feel like one of the issues that they could face as they approach this movie is that they've become more comic book store as opposed to general audience. And they did it to themselves for what you said earlier, OG. Did you watch She-Hulk? No, I backed out of She-Hulk. Well, then you don't know, because now the comic book guy store goes, well, then you didn't see what happened, and then this person did this, and oh, you didn't see Brave New World, then you don't realize. And then the normies go, dude, I don't care about this. Like, what am I doing? Like, I'll wait for Odyssey to come out or whatever, right? So I think that Marvel needs to figure out how to make sure that the things that are leading into these tentpole movies are accessible by the super fans, but also the general marketplace can jump in and not just be super confused, right? Yeah. I jump in and I see David Harbour as what is his name, Red Guardian or something like that. I don't remember his title, but I go, who is this guy? Right? Like, if I don't see Thunderbolts, then how am I supposed to know? And now I'm confused. And now I got to turn to the person next to me and be like, who's that? And then that person goes, you don't know who Red Guardian is? You're an idiot. You know, it's like that's a bad look for the fandom. So I just feel like we're entering territory that I think is hyper dangerous for Marvel. They can solve it by doing good stories and making people want to see more of those stories and making sure the general audience focused. But I'm just worried about it. I'm worried about it, Tones. You got to hype me up because I'm worried about it.
I'm trying. Like I said, I'm trying to hype myself up, to be honest with you.
I do agree with both of you. I do have high hopes with the Russo brothers. Jay has, as you had mentioned, like their track record is prolific when it comes to the MCU. So I mean, and you know, bringing up like with the Odyssey and everything, I mean, that goes the same thing with Christopher Nolan. I mean, he's a prolific director. I mean, anything he touches is like King Midas. It's like it turns to gold, you know. So I feel that same way with the Russo brothers when it comes to Marvel. So I'm right there with Tones. That's where I have the high hopes of that we can get back on track with Marvel with something. But also at the same time, what worries me is, can Marvel get out of the slump without it actually being an Avengers? Like, it always seems like that the Avengers is like the go-to to say, okay, this is how we have to bring back. Can something just stand on itself alone with Marvel and be just successful as the Avengers?
Well, and here's the other thing too, and Jay, you brought this up, and it's a brilliant point that you made. Marvel is in a real delicate position, kind of a balancing act, so to speak, where like they want people to do the cinematic universe thing, obviously, and watch every episode, you know, each movie and show that leads up to the Avengers thing. At the same time, though, you don't want to be so married to each part of that cinematic universe, because not everyone's going to watch every part of it. And then you get the comic book nerd conversation, which is like, well, you didn't see this show? Well, that's because, you know, this, that, and the other. So each of these movies have to tie together, but they also have to be accessible and digestible for people just to kind of jump in and just watch them if they didn't see a bunch of these other things. And that's hard to do. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Tones.
No, what I was going to say while Jay was talking, and I was going to bring this up while he was talking, but I wanted him to finish. While he was talking, in my head, I'm thinking, What Marvel should do, and they should do it because of in good faith, because of its fans and how dedicated their fans are, is they should do a series or a thing where you live stream on YouTube or live stream on Netflix, whatever the case may be, from the beginning of Marvel, where we need to watch, to the end, like or throw out movies here once in a while for us to watch. Like, hey, we're gonna be live streaming fucking Avengers 1 or Avenger, like live stream a movie where its fans can, like, oh, I didn't end up watching that, I should go watch it. They're live streaming it. It's free. It's going to be one night out of the year. I could probably, it's just something in good faith because of the shit that they've been putting out. But for two, it would be more. It would be better for the fans, because some people didn't watch some of these movies that they need to know, that they need to watch to understand some of the stuff that's going to be coming out.
Yeah,
they could even do a previously in the MCU before the movie starts.
Exactly,
great idea.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great absolutely point. Yep, absolutely. Like they do, like I remember like old school TV shows kind of used to do that, like last week on so and so, and it kind of give you like a brief little recap of what's going on. That's a great idea. Yeah, absolutely. Now, Tones, I have to admit, when I saw this chair, I thought about you, because I know you're a big Shang-Chi guy.
I did too.
Are you hyped?
I saw him, I was like, oh man, Tones is probably jumping for joy. But also at the same time, for some reason, I kind of saw Tones being a little bit pissed off. Like to say, why has it taken so long to get Shang-Chi back on the screen? Like we were already waiting for a sequel for Shang-Chi, and like they just like completely skipped over it and went right into Doomsday. Because I'm with Tones. I absolutely love Shang-Chi. I was anticipating on the sequel. It was my first film back into theaters after the pandemic. So, but yeah, when I saw his name on the chair, I immediately thought of Tones.
What was going through that, Tones?
My initial thoughts were exactly what George said. I was pissed, but I was happy because I get to see him. I've stated this multiple times that they should have rode the fucking wheels until the wheels fell off when it came to this movie, because it was so good that they should have made a sequel right away without any questions asked. They should have just fucking done it, but unfortunately we still haven't got that, and it looks like the movie's being pushed back because they just announced, I think like a couple months ago, that they're getting a different director for the movie, but they're gonna wait until this phase is fucking finished. I don't know, it's just all over the place. But yeah, I was happy to see his name, but to have to see his character in the fucking movies and have to wait till Doomsday, which I probably won't even see a whole bunch of him in the movie because there's going to be so many different characters within it. I mean, yeah, I love it, but at the same time, fuck, I'm so
I feel you. Yeah, no, Shang-Chi was a great movie. It was actually one of the single instance, the single piece of content that I actually liked Awkwafina's character. I dislike every role she plays. I don't know. I just find her to be very obnoxious. You know what I'm saying? Nothing against her as a person, I guess. It's just her style of humor, and I just not feeling it at all. But she was good in that movie. She was good. Credit where it's due.
The first act of Shang-Chi, because I didn't love the second half of Shang-Chi personally. I need to go back and watch it again. But the first half, like a Marvel film that does like full martial arts, Jackie Chan style. The bus fight scene might be the best fight scene that the MCU has ever done in the history of the MCU.
Jay.
Yeah,
thank you, Jay.
It's amazing. So more of that would be fantastic.
Yeah,
and they should have fucking continued the story. Like, and the way they ended the story with the post-credit scene with not Doctor Strange, but I always forget his fucking name. His buddy.
Wong.
Well, yes, Wong. Yeah. Wong comes in and takes Shang-Chi and what's her name, and they go through the portal, and then the fucking movie ends. I'm like, okay, now when is part 2 coming out? And then we get 10 years later, we get a fucking.
You know what that really was? That was very Wong of them.
George is gonna get us canceled.
Balls to the wall. One of these days, balls to the wall.
One of these days, one of these clips are gonna be clipped and it's gonna be all over the internet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
This guy. No, but when did Shang-Chi come out? That was Pandy, right? 2020-ish?
2019, I think. Or let me look it up.
I thought it was after, because that was the first movie back.
2021.
Okay, dude, it's been 4 years already. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I think that's why I always tell people, like, after Endgame, a movie that I would recommend people to see that is Marvel related is Shang-Chi. Like, I think that's the only movie I would recommend people to go watch. I mean, there's, the Loki show was really good. If you like cameos, the Daredevil Wolverine and Deadpool. Jesus Christ, I've been watching so much Daredevil. I'm thinking Daredevil. Deadpool, Wolverine. It was cool if you like cameos. Personally, I didn't like the story. I thought the story was dumb as fuck. But
how did you really feel about that,
Tones? Shang-Chi is. I always go back and when I tell people go watch this movie, you'll like this. So
dope. Yeah, we'll see, man. Marvel's in a transitional period right now.
If they can pull off a. I think it needs to be better than Age of Ultron.
Yes.
But it doesn't need to be even an Infinity War level. It can be just the first Avengers film.
Agreed.
Like level of which by the way is not my favorite film. Like I don't love, some people love that film. Joss Whedon, who's the guy who did that film, he's super great with an ensemble that's likable. But he's never been in my sensibility range. Like, I know he's great at what he does, but he's not in my sensibility range. So like, so I didn't love that film, but that film was beloved by comic book fans and the general audiences because you didn't need to know anything, right? Hulk's just like taking Loki and just slamming him. I mean, that's funny. Oh yeah, that's great. We want more of that. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to be crazy good. You just have to be. I think Tones made this point earlier. You just have to be like, give it a 65 on Metacritic and you're probably good to go and you'll get the hype train going again,
Yeah. Oh, well said. Absolutely.
One more thing real quick. I've stated this on multiple occasions. To me, Gambit is a movie that should have been made 10, 15 years ago, but we would have loved to see something Gambit related even in the nearest, in the past, but we got to see what he was like in oh my God, why am I Deadpool and Wolverine? We got to see him and how much he was fucking loved in that movie. And we get to see him in Doomsday as well. But they need to make a fucking Gambit movie. What is so hard about making a fucking Gambit movie?
That's what I'm saying. It's so easy to hurry up and like shove all these people into one film and call it, the next Avengers film. Because it's going to be great because it's Avengers. Why is it the hesitation of making a great film of a standalone Marvel character? Like, where I felt like we got that with the first Black Panther, but it's like, why is it so hard? And I'll even say, even Shang-Chi, Shang-Chi didn't do Black Panther level like numbers at the box office, but it really shouldn't even be about the numbers. It should be about great storytelling. And it's like, why is it so difficult for Marvel to pull that off with just individual storylines?
No, the MCU owes itself to Iron Man. Jon Favreau, if you had not made Iron Man the way Iron Man was made, to George's point, a single character, they weren't trying to do all this. There was no multiverse, just this one character. I mean, they knocked it out of the park. And I could not agree with you guys more. Like, one of the things about Channing Tatum showing up was not only was it funny, but he actually proved that he had the chops in that role to actually do it. And you're like, dude, not only is this hilarious, but like, this guy needs a movie. Like, come on, give him a movie. 100% agree.
Yeah.
One thing, I think it is kind of crazy to me how we see some of these standalone movies when it comes to especially the people in the Avengers, Iron Man, Thor. We see all these people have their own standalone movies, but when it comes to everyone outside of the Avengers, like Thunderbolts, X-Men, we never see a standalone movie when it comes to a single character except for Wolverine. Now, we've seen how well people loved Wolverine. Why don't we ever get a standalone movie for, I don't know, fucking Cyclops or Storm or whoever, whoever the case may be? But I think it's another route they should think about going because of how well Wolverine did. And, Wolverine was technically part of the X-Men, but they should also think about going that route of doing standalone movies for some of those characters.
I would love to see. I would love to see a Storm standalone film. I wouldn't mind staring at Halle Berry for over 2 hours.
No, absolutely. Well, and that's the thing too. I think they need to start taking some risks and start doing things a little differently. What worked in 2019 and before that, I don't think really works now. I think Marvel needs to start, getting into like what you were saying, Tones, like looking at stuff like that. Like, hey, we haven't done a standalone on that character. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying?
Why not give us a standalone Doctor Doom movie where it's just about how he becomes a villain, right? Like
that'd be sick, dude.
That'd be phenomenal.
And do that before actually Doomsday.
Yes.
Like show the arc of like how Doom is coming into this, because and with the finishing of Endgame, there was no recollection of Doctor Doom in anything. Right. It was like, so now we're jumping into this movie and it's like, oh, here's Doctor Doom, oh, by the way, he looks like RDJ, of Iron Man. It's like, why? Like, give us the side plot leading up to this. And then they could say at the end, Doctor Doom will return,
Exactly.
Exactly. It's funny now that I'm thinking about all this. We saw the Fantastic Four with Doctor Doom in it, right? We see not the original one, the 2015 one, I believe it was.
Yeah, not a lot of us actually saw it. That's how bad it was.
But I hate to say it, but the movie looks stupider. I don't know if that's a word, but I'm fucking using it. It looks more dumb now because of how fast they killed Doctor Doom in that movie. And now we're getting a whole fucking cast of over 60 people. Looks like they're going to be fighting Doctor Doom in this movie in the MCU. Like, I just find it so stupid now that I think about it, that the Fantastic Four can kill Doctor Doom in that movie. But now we're getting Avengers, Fantastic Four, fucking X-Men. It's mind-boggling now that I think it.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a fantastic point.
Oh man,
that's hilarious.
Somebody was saying, and I think this is true. I think it might have been the Real Rejects guys. And again, this is the kind of information you really want from comic book nerds, and this is why we listen to their shows. And I don't consider myself a comic book nerd, just FYI. Like I know a lot of this stuff, but I'm not that level. But they were saying.
So what you're saying is you didn't read volume 14 of Iron Man?
I did not. Okay. I did not. I might have, and I wouldn't be able to tell you if I did or not. Maybe I did.
First edition.
Exactly. But one of the things they were talking about was like, this should give us the ability to reset all of this multiverse madness, like stupidness, right? Like, this is the film that should be able. They were actually talking about the fact that they didn't recast Kang. And so this is kind of like, how do we figure out this whole, there was a whole storyline going along before the Jonathan Majors issues. Which I wonder how that's resolving itself, because he was technically acquitted, right? Like, but he still got booted. I mean, the whole thing's really weird. But like, there's this whole thing going on with Kang, and it's like not a thing anymore. But we do know that Loki's coming in, and the last time we saw Loki, he was like holding the multiverse together. So there's something that's going to happen here. And by the way, if you haven't seen Loki, you wouldn't know that.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, exactly. But again, to the point of you have to watch all the stuff to know what's going on. I think we might be able to start. I think it's very difficult to do a standalone film with one character when the multiverse is going on, because you're like, do I care about this at all? Like, is this character even in a verse that will matter to the next movie that comes out, right? So I think by resetting all of this stuff and going like, okay, we got a primary timeline, we'll get back to being able to do better stories that don't have to be so convoluted to get us there. So
the multiverse thing is a real risk, because you do fall potentially into that trap, Jay, where it's like the stakes are gone.
Yes.
Oh, this character dies. Don't worry. There's 14 other multiverse versions of that guy, right?
Exactly.
Right?
That was my main concern.
Reminds me of Common Core math. Like, I don't get it.
Say that again, George.
I said Marvel's multiverse reminds me of Common Core math.
But I think that was my main issue with with Marvel in general. It was a cop out. The multiverse was a cop out for characters that we see die. Like, for instance, when we see, spoiler alert, who haven't seen fucking Iron Man die, but if Iron Man dies, we can just go. Yeah. But since he died, now we can go to the multiverse, pick up another one from a different timeline and bring it back. Like, I think it was a huge cop out for them to do.
Yeah.
And I know it's a thing because of different worlds and
that was my hesitation of bringing RDJ back in general for Doctor Doom. I mean, I'm still even a little bit hesitant of how this is going to go. It has to be done very well orchestrated, because again, you don't want to soil the finale of Endgame. It ended sadly, but it ended so beautifully with like Tony Stark's legacy and how he grew, not, just as an inventor or as an entrepreneur or as a superhero, but him as a man, as a person, leading up to that point of becoming a husband, a father, so it's like to then take the same actor and then put him in an evil, diabolical role that us as fans have seen the face of RDJ as the face of Marvel as Iron Man. It's like, how well is that going to be received? Again, could it be done? Absolutely. But it has to be done with taste.
But I don't think we're going to be getting Tony Stark.
No. We're not getting Tony Stark, but when you think of Tony Stark, you see RDJ, you see that face. So we all know, like, even though it's not necessarily Tony Stark, he's playing a whole nother character. But what did RDJ say during South by Southwest? 17 years of like that he's been part of Tony Stark's legacy. So to then just kind of start all over with a brand new character that is the complete opposite of who Tony Stark eventually became, I think it's going to be kind of hard for fans to digest. Again, it still can be done, but it has to be done well.
Yeah. There's pros and cons to the whole RDJ thing, because I do think the Spider-Man element of it is going to be very interesting if they stick that landing.
I was just about to. Well, he hasn't been casted yet, so we don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we'll see.
By the way, real quick, if they don't fucking cast him, it's going to be. I think it's an awful decision. But go ahead, Jay.
I was just gonna piggyback on what you guys are saying, because like the multiverse presents you with questions that you don't want to be asking. So let's show you one. Right? Why does the Chris Evans Johnny Storm exist when we're getting a Fantastic Four movie with a different Johnny Storm? Right? Or why? So what happened to, if we're going to get a Channing Tatum Gambit movie that we all want, what happened to the Taylor Kitsch Gambit? Like, now it's okay to poke fun at those questions in a Deadpool movie, but those questions suddenly become obnoxious and irritating and bless you, Tones, and just kind of like, why do I have to ask that question in the real movies, right? So it's like, if you want to have gravitas, if you want to have consequences, if you want to have these kinds of things, these two things can't exist in the same universe. If you want to make jokes, that's fine, they can exist. It's no big deal, right? So I think that's the other thing about the multiverse that I think is just kind of like, we started this show off with going like, why wasn't it James McAvoy, or why wasn't it recasted as something else? And so, yeah. Anyway, I think that the multiverse as a storyteller, if you told me, first of all, if you told me I could work on a Marvel film, I would work on one. Sure, why not? Like, it sounds fun to me. If you asked me like, do you want to do anything with a multiverse in it? I'd be like, no. Like, it doesn't make sense. It's very difficult to be, unless you're making fun of it like Deadpool did, it's very difficult for the multiverse to work correctly.
100%. And it creates a lot of messiness.
Yes. So
all kinds of messiness. And then you got to, and here's the thing too, it really does play to the gimmick, I think.
Yep.
first and foremost. Oh, look at we can bring this person through the portal now, and this person and that person, and it's very like gimmicky. But then you're left. It's like a night of drinking. You can have like 17 beers. You're having the greatest time of your life. You're living high on the hog that night. But the morning after, you got to deal with the hangover, right?
Yeah.
The multiverse is that. The multiverse is just the binge drinking. We're having a blast. Yo, this is fantastic. But the morning after, now you got to clean up the story mess, you know?
And I think the one thing that I think is pretty cool, though, is that we do get characters that have been reused, or actors that have been reused for multiple characters within the MCU. I mean, not within the MCU, but within Marvel's history of movies. Like Ryan Reynolds was Green Lantern, then he was Deadpool, then we get Chris Evans, who was Torch, and now he's fucking Captain America. Like, we see different ways. It's kind of like the Marvel Studios MCU within the MCU, you know what I'm saying? Or
yeah.
like, or the their what's the a multiverse within the MCU. So it's kind of cool to think about in a way, but at the same time, what's the reasoning of them reusing actors for characters that they already played within the Marvel Studios, you know, franchise? So it's kind of cool, but it's a question that I was thinking about the other day.
Yeah, no, 100%.
With the Fantastic Four now, because based off of like the time frame that they'll be coming into, you know, the MCU, and then with Galactus coming in, so I'm assuming with the cast of Fantastic Four now being part of Doomsday, that's a different time era than what they're starting. So are we assuming that Galactus destroys their world or their time frame, and that's what puts them into the more present time?
It's a good question, because you also think about if you guys seen the movie Eternals, we see Galactus in that movie as well, but how is that linked to the Fantastic Four when we're going to be seeing Galactus as well? So it's really confusing on what the storyline is, because if we've seen, like, are we going to see the Eternals again? None of them were mentioned in this movie. Like, what are we eventually going to see when it comes to Galactus? Because we haven't heard anything yet.
Yeah.
And what's the other dude who played Kit Harington played in Eternals? He played a character.
Yeah.
I forgot his name, but
Black Knight or something like that.
Yeah, he was supposed to be linked with Galactus as well, if I'm not mistaken, right?
No way.
They dropped
Tones is every podcast Tones on. He's got to bring up a character that was in Game of Thrones.
I know, right?
That's a part of it. Yeah,
absolutely. Staying on brand, Tones. Staying on brand.
I do.
Yeah,
hire me, House of Dragon, Game of Thrones. Hire me.
Let's do it. Yeah, no, it's interesting though. Like, Marvel has really just completely walked away from the Eternals. They want nothing to do with it, right? I feel like that was a decade ago. I feel like it's completely off the radar now, right?
Somebody did say that I think it was in Fantastic Four, but that actually does not make sense to me now that I'm thinking about it. Somebody was saying that in one of the upcoming films, we were gonna see the Eternal, or what was it? What are they called? The Celestial. That's like in the whatever it is, like South Pole or North Pole or something like that, wherever that Celestial is, that we were that was gonna come up as a thing. But
I think that's in the Brave New World.
Oh, okay. Did you see Brave New World? Has anybody seen Brave New World?
I didn't know. I saw
Is it good, George?
It's
okay.
Yeah.
Was it bad?
There's
how many yucks do you give it?
Oh, that was a good one, OG.
I liked it. It wasn't as bad as like what it was perceived as, like it was going to be like a horrible film. But again, it falls into the category where it's okay. There's certain moments that's like cringy, but then there's other moments that's like, okay, like why couldn't they just stick with this and go this route? Harrison Ford obviously is phenomenal. Like anything he does is great, but the story as a whole, it was an okay plot. You know, I felt like it definitely gave off the vibe that it was a production that was during a certain time frame where they were trying to I'm trying to figure out my words here, to give off like certain points of a certain time period, where they wouldn't do that now, especially like with the DEI being removed and everything. So for me, as I said, and that really has nothing to do like why I dislike the movie or not. As I said, it was just an okay movie. I felt like that they could have done much better, but it's just one of those things that was like, would I watch it again? Maybe on Disney Plus, but I don't know.
So here's something we were talking about again in the private chat. There's no reason. So Will Smith did Independence Day. What was it, 1996, I think? Somewhere in there. And he was the biggest celebrity of all time, right? Like, I mean, like he was so big in the mid 90s. It was insane. Went on to do Men in Black, which was also like huge. There's no reason that a guy with Anthony Mackie's personality shouldn't be the next Will Smith.
Thank you.
So like, I just feel like it's like, dude, part of what's not happening here is that like if this was a film that even, because let's face it, go back and watch Independence Day. It's not an Oscar performing film in any way, shape, or form, but it was one of the most popular films of that year in a decade where there were lots and lots of good films coming out. So I feel like it's like, how do you get that to happen in the MCU? Because you need it, right? You need Anthony Mackie to be seen not as the secondary Cap, but as the Will Smith who should be Cap, because it makes sense and he's awesome. Like I just don't. And by the way, I don't have any way to fix that. I don't have a good solution for that.
Which is just a shame because Anthony Mackie is a really good actor. I mean, him as Falcon is awesome. I feel like he gets the short end of the stick, to be honest with you, because it feels like they're not fleshing out his character as they should.
Well, and that might be the risk that you run when you do these mantle kind of things, where you pass on the mantle. Yeah. People are so like conditioned. It's Chris Evans, and it's kind of unfair to Anthony Mackie though, because like we've all been saying,
they actually incorporate that in the storyline of the movie when Harrison Ford looks at him and says, "You're no Rogers."
Yeah.
Like
spoiler alert, George, come on, man.
Yeah. But that's the thing though. I feel like it does Anthony a disservice because I think that he is fantastic. I think he, like you were saying, Jay, he's great on and off camera. He's got the personality, the charm, the charisma. He's an excellent actor, but he's kind of stuck in this rut because he's sort of like trying to be the he's trying to fill the shoes of the Chris Evans character now. I don't think it does him any favors.
I do think there has to be a kind of difference, because the difference between the Anthony Mackie Captain America and Chris Evans Captain America is now Anthony Mackie can fly. He's doing different things that he's not a Winter Soldier or a super soldier. Like he's not that Captain America. He's a completely different Captain America that we are going to have to adjust to. Yeah. I do think he could play the part well. Like I think he could do a fantastic Captain America, but it's something that we're going to have to adjust to because it's a completely different Captain America that we've seen in previous movies.
Yeah. No, well said, Tonez. That's exactly it. It's a completely different one. And that's part of the problem maybe is that people have a hard time like adjusting, right? Like we're so used to this version, and
they gave him first of all, he didn't have an origin story. He had a transition story, which is not fair, right? True. So an origin story is something that they could have given him that would have been better. They could have done it in a different way. But back to OG's point, I mean, he's top 3. Anthony Mackie is top 3 personalities being interviewed. You got Pedro Pascal. Everybody loves Pedro Pascal. Put him on any stage in any context, you love him. You have Anthony Mackie, and who was the other one I was thinking of? There was one
Michael B. Jordan.
Michael G. Jordan. Yeah, he's a little bit more on the serious side. By the way, his new movie,
Sinners.
I'm kind of stoked about that movie.
It looks good.
It looks pretty good.
I had some mixed emotions at first, but it looks good now.
Yeah. Same. The trailer started. I'm like, I'm not sure if I'm into this, and then it got weird, and I'm like, oh, this is really interesting. Anyway, the other person I was thinking of was Chris Pratt. he's also super entertaining, right? Like you can just put them in anything, like put them in any press junket, and instantly the press junket's a good press junket, right? Like, so yeah, man, I don't know. I don't have any solutions. I just have disappointments right this minute. So I'm really hoping that, first of all, I'm excited about Fantastic Four. It will probably be the next MCU movie that I go to the theater to watch, because I probably will not go to the theater to watch Thunderbolts unless everybody says it's the most amazing movie they've ever seen. I'll just wait for it. But I am pretty hyped about Fantastic Four, mostly because I love the fact that it's taking place in the 60s.
Yes.
I think that's an interesting wrinkle to put them in. And I'm like, oh, it's kind of cool during the space race and stuff. And the CG looks good. And the you turn on that trailer and you're like, you turn on that trailer and you're like, I would like a lounge at Disneyland that feels like this, that I could go to, right?
Well, totally. And that's the cool thing too, is that this is the thing I love about Kevin Feige. He's actually a huge Disney nerd.
Yeah.
And he was saying like this movie was inspired by Disneyland, Tomorrowland, and Epcot. I'm like, that's awesome, man. Jay, I don't know if you ever saw it in Tones. Have you guys seen the Disney Archive special on Disney Plus? I'm sure George has, but have you guys seen it?
Is it the one where the guy like goes and finds different artifacts? That one?
No, that was what was that one? I forgot. Prop.
Yeah, prop one. Prop culture. I've seen that one, but
that was a great show. That was a great show, but the archive one, I don't even know if it's on Disney Plus anymore because they've been removing a lot of stuff. Yeah. But Feige talks about Disney, a lot of Disney, like non-Marvel stuff in there. And he was talking about how he's in love with the Disney animatronic. He loves animatronics. He said, Mary Poppins, big Mary Poppins fan. Like, who knew, right? This guy loves this stuff, man. And I love that. And I like how he's utilizing his love for Disney in these Marvel movies. We even saw it with Iron Man, with the Howard Stark stuff. Heavily inspired by Walt, right? And that 1960s World Fair, right? That whole thing.
Oh, dude, I love that.
It's amazing. You know, even brought Richard Sherman on to do the music and everything, which is awesome. You know, I mean, just legendary. But yeah.
By the way, totally different thing.
Yeah.
But wasn't Feige gonna get a Star Wars movie at some point in time too?
Exactly, dude. Yeah, he was.
What's going on?
He's still waiting on the contract with DB Weiss and David Benioff.
Exactly.
On the same contract.
I think everybody, including every one of us on this panel, has had a Star Wars movie at one point. Mine still hasn't come out, bro. So I don't know. You know, but now, Jay, I just want to say one thing too. You said you've had a lot of disappointment lately, right?
Yeah.
But bro, that last chair, you gotta admit, that was fire, bro. That was fire. The Seymour Duck chair, man. I'm really looking forward to it. Mr. Duck.
We didn't get Howard the Duck, so we'll take Mr. Seymour Duck.
Mr. Seymour Duck. Now
I take it all back. I'm hyped for this movie.
Yeah. I question who they're gonna follow in this movie. We now know who they're gonna follow.
Yeah. Right there, man. Right there. Big shout out to Mr. Duck. We love Seymour. He's a fantastic guy. Actually, Seymour's really, really funny in the DMs, man.
He is. He's hilarious.
He's a funny dude. He's a funny dude. But gentlemen, great conversation, talking Marvel, nerding out with you guys. George and I just recorded a video. It'll be up probably tomorrow. We did a video with Slimer, all about Walt Disney World and stuff. And we somehow diverted into Telemundo Weather Women. I don't know.
OG, why are you surprised when you have George in the video? Why are you surprised?
Yeah, that's true. That's very, very true. Yeah, it was a good talk. It was a good talk. Yeah. George, where can everybody find?
As soon as you finish that sentence, I'm like, not surprised.
Yeah.
That's on brand. I expect there to be a drop at some point in time.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. George, where do we find you on social media, sir?
Absolutely. You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You could also find me on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky under the Disney Italiano. And of course, you can find me right here on my home base on Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner, with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info. And also check out my new YouTube channel, Citrico Central, sister channel to Orange Grove 55.
There we go. And this weekend we'll be at Universal filming some content. We're gonna do like a little bar chat like we've been doing over there. Nice. But Theme Park Wizard will be joining us, the one and only Mr. Wizard. So we're nerding out about theme parks while in a theme park. So pretty fun stuff.
Wizard. Shout out to Wizard. Let me tell you a little Wizard story. So I was gonna go buy a uni ticket to hang out with these guys, and OG goes, "Oh, you should talk to Wizard because he's a travel agent, right?" And shout out to Wizard. He messages me. I message him back. I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I don't need like anything fancy. I just like need a 1-day ticket. That's all I need. Like, it's nothing crazy." Wizard texts me yesterday and is like, "Bro, Universal's coming out with a deal tomorrow. Buy one, get one free." I'm like,
Wow.
I'm in, Wizard. Buy me a ticket, I get one free. So shout out to Wizard for all your travel agent needs. Check out Theme Park Wizard.
Oh, Wizard is the man. That's why when we were talking about Universal, Jay, back and forth on the text messages, I'm like, say no more. Let me get Wizard on here, bro.
He knows. He knows.
He knows.
And hopefully he's gonna come hang out with us too. So that'll be really fun.
That'd be dope. Big shout out to Mr. Wizard. He's an awesome dude. Really awesome dude. Mr. Jay Sherer, where can everybody find you on social media, sir?
You can't really find me on social media. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram, but like I'm not posting anything there besides like the film festivals that we're going to. But
that's basically his kind words of saying, "I'm on here, but leave me the hell alone."
Right?
Basically exactly what it is. I
love how you're so nonchalant. You're like, yeah, I'm just posting all the winnings of all the film festivals I've won. That's about it, guys.
Oh man. You know what's crazy though? You know what's crazy is that you can have a film that's really doing as well as ours is, and I'm so grateful and blessed that it's doing this well, and I'm like super stoked about it. Absolutely. And like you realize what you then have to do to get the feature made, and you're just like, what? Like I thought I did this, and maybe no. Okay, there's a lot more I gotta prove or whatever. Anyway, you can find me over at How Stories Work with Jay Sherer, where I'm trying to become a better storyteller, whether it's writing or directing. I'm doing deep dive studies into different films to learn from them. If you want to learn with me, then check me out at How Stories Work with Jay Sherer. You can always catch me on Orange Grove 55 with the Story Geek Show. And as I was mentioning early on, I just came from a conversation with Nerd Soul about Daredevil, the latest season, Daredevil Born Again. I know that Tones is into that. So you can also sometimes find me on Bad Thought Studio because I'm hanging out with Tones talking about stuff.
Find him everywhere, guys. He's all over the place.
I'm all over the place. I'm all over the place. But thanks for having me on, OG. This was a fun conversation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Always love having you on. And I'll be linking the Nerd Soul Daredevil stuff at the very end because
it might not come out. So link to the previous episodes because like sometimes it might not come out till like late in the day on the next day. So yeah,
cool. Yeah, I'll link the previous episode at the end of this episode. So make sure you stick around and check that out. Mr. Tonez Papi, where can everybody find you on social media? Tonez Papi.
Thanks again for having me, boys. I appreciate it. Always a pleasure talking to you guys. Yeah, guys, go to Tones_TV on TikTok and X. Go to Bad Thoughts Studios and Bad Thoughts Podcast on YouTube. Check out the content over there.
There we go. Everybody, thank you for watching this episode of OG55. Well, actually, this episode of the Orange Nerd Show on OG55. Comment down below with all your thoughts on the Marvel chair thing promo, thoughts on the overall health of the MCU, all that good stuff.
Telemundo weather people.
Exactly. Yeah. Telemundo weather women, whatever's on your mind. Down below. Absolutely.
If they want to do a kick-ass Marvel movie, that's the route to go.
Telling you, man. Watch out, Mrs. Incredible. Got some competition. All right, everybody. Have a good one.
Thank you for watching OG55. If you aren't already, consider becoming a member today.